Peoria area home sales aren't showing many signs of making an immediate rebound. That's just one of the things you'll want to hear about to start your day for Monday, May 6th. I'm Tim Shelley, and this is WCBU's On Deck. Home sales in the Peoria area remain sluggish, continuing an extended downturn in the market. WCBU's Joe Deacon reports.
The Peoria Area Association of Realtors reports a 6.4% drop in first quarter sales compared to a year ago, with just under 1,000 closings. PAR President Bill McCarthy says low inventory remains the biggest factor in the decline.
Right now in the Peoria market, I did a search here just the other day, and there was 435 homes for sale in the Peoria area. In the past, it was always somewhere around 1,800 to 2,000 homes.
McCarthy says a shortage of new home construction is a part of the problem. He also says many existing homeowners aren't looking to spend more on a new property.
There are a lot of them that are sitting on, 3% interest rates, and they're going, well, if I sell and I have to borrow the money now, I'm going to be at 6.5%, maybe higher.
The market's average sale price of around $144,000 is nearly $8,000 less than this time last year. However, McCarthy doesn't see that as a warning sign.
There was a little dip this quarter, but overall we're still seeing a steady increase in the price of homes.
McCarthy says there's no shortage of buyers and homes are selling quickly, with the average number of days on the market down from 49 to 35. He says sales typically pick up in the spring and the market remains favorable to sellers as high demand faces a short supply of homes. For WCBU's On Deck, I'm Joe Deacon.
Here's some other stories we're following in the WCBU newsroom. Governor J.B. Pritzker says pro-Palestinian college students have a right to protest the war in Gaza, so long as they don't impede academic operations on their campuses. The Illinois Department of Human Services is asking for more than $180 million in this year's budget towards asylum seeker housing. Mayor Rita Ali says she believes an ordinance creating a distillery TIF on Peoria's south side adequately addresses environmental concerns. A bill that would put more controls on certain types of high-cost loans to small businesses has cleared the Illinois Senate. Find more of these stories and all the details at WCBU.org. An accessible garden project at Schramm Educational Center in Pekin will give students the opportunity to test out their green thumbs. WCBU's Cameron Cutinello has more.
Plans for this garden began pre-pandemic, but it may have never gotten beyond a bare patch of concrete without a push from Ann Risen. She's a special education coordinator for the Tazewell-Mason County Special Ed Cooperative. She started at Schramm in 2023 and saw value in finishing the project.
I myself am very passionate about, eating, sourcing locally from local farms as much as possible. So the idea of bringing local fresh produce to our students through our own garden was exciting to me.
The school serves special needs students aged 3 to 22. Risen says a project like this provides something different in the curriculum. After getting approval to pursue the project, Risen began looking for a builder and some funding. The school applied for a grant from the Hambrick Foundation, which offers grants for educators who work in special needs environments. The foundation was started by autonomous vehicle company founder Bobby Hambrick, who was inspired by his special needs son, Truman. He says they were excited to provide the $5,000 grant for the garden.
It gets the kids out of the classroom. It gets them working with their hands a little bit. It helps them understand how things are planted and cared for, and then at the end of it, they receive some fruits of their labor. And then that fruits of the labor, they can enjoy themselves or they can provide to others. And then again, the next season, they can do it all over again.
Hambrick says he likes this unique project.
I think it gets the community involved. It gets the teachers involved. It gets the kids involved. It gets the parents involved. And it's good for everybody.
Ann Risen then reached out to local organizers and agencies to build the garden beds, but found herself hitting roadblocks until she realized the answer was right in her own kitchen. Evan Berry is the former owner of Downriver Farm. Risen had been buying produce from the farm for years and asked Barry to help design and build the garden. Barry said yes. He says the project began in September with brainstorming what the garden should look like. Barry says the main 2 beds are built in a U shape, making them accessible for students in a wheelchair. 2 more raised beds let students sit at them like a desk.
And my goal was how do I make this not only physically accessible, but like very simple to manage and simple for students that age to get something out of.
Ryzen says accessibility is paramount.
So there's going to be a varying degree to what our students can do. They helped, many of our students went out and helped fill the garden with soils, some even just taking a bucket and helping to fill, or a small Tupperware and helping to fill and be a part of the process.
Barry created a grid system in the garden beds with twine to separate foot-by-foot squares.
It's really easy for them to, I can just say plant 12 seeds in this square, plant, 1 tomato plant in this square, plant 2 lettuce plants in this square. So we're trying to keep accessibility in mind, and also what will the final curriculum look like? How can this be, educationally advantageous for them?
Ryzen says they hope to create a curriculum to educate students on what they're growing and the benefits of healthy eating. Seeds are currently sprouting in the garden. Ryzen says they're growing lettuce, carrots, peas, and tomatoes. She says she wants students to be involved in every step of the process.
From, going out and weeding the garden and harvesting the vegetables, potentially, offering vegetables to our staff and our families. We've thought about having a little produce stand here at school, and, our students could potentially work the produce stand. And so there's lots of potential there for what our students can do to help support and be a part of this.
Ryzen says they're looking into having their cook utilize vegetables for potlucks, and she wants to share the produce with families. She hopes to see the students put on their chef's hats too.
I think there's bigger dreams and goals to, maybe look at building into a little student-led business where maybe we're making salsas and, selling at a local farmer's market.
But for now, Ryzen just wants students to get outside, get their hands dirty, and see green things grow. For WCBU's On Deck, I'm Cameron Cutinello.
Now, before we let you go, take a peek at the Murray Baker Bridge tonight. It'll be lit up red in recognition of National Nurses Week. And that's all for today. You can subscribe to WCBU's On Deck podcast on Apple, Spotify, Google, or the NPR app.